you guys. Okay. Hi, guys. This is Debbie with Debbie J's Crafting Corner. Let me get that countdown off of there. Okay, there we go. I'm excited. Yeah. I kind of went a little crazy yesterday playing a little bit too much. And it looks like my lighting is kind of screwed up. But that's okay. That is okay. Let me just lower that a little bit there, and then we'll see what the desktop looks like. Actually. Anywho, I will adjust it in a minute. But first I want to say hello to everybody that is in the chat. So we've got, and I see people's names popping up on my screen. That's awesome. So we've got Rebecca is here from South Carolina. Welcome on in, Rebecca. And I'm trying to get to a different screen. Where to go? It's over here. Yeah, because I want to say welcome. Welcome on in, everybody. We are going to be playing with the Betterpress. Yes, I did get one in. I purchased this one. This is not one that was sent to me by Spellbinders, but you guys saw during Creativation, I talked with Denzel for a little bit. He did a quick demo, and it really is as easy as what he showed me that day. So I watched the video again just to make sure I didn't forget something, went through this, and it was super, super easy to create a gorgeous image on there. And then, of course, my watercoloring kind of sucks, but it still is a pretty card. So let me take a look at the chat, switching screens again. So Rebecca and Maureen, hello, Miss Maureen. Maureen has been sitting here waiting since 5 o'clock. Okay, so now 5:30. Crystal is in the house. Cordelia is in the house, and I also changed the little messages that pop up over here when first time chatters and stuff. So yeah, I changed that up a little bit. So Cordelia got a meow, so that was kind of funny. And we have Miss Pam Phillips. Welcome. So welcome everybody in. I figure we're probably going to get some more people popping in because this is now that Pam's here, we can get crafty, right? Okay, welcome on in. I'm glad the thing is working. I have tried getting some more of my different effects and stuff on the screen and working correctly. So looks like those things are working. I haven't spent a lot of time on it because I've been, well, first off, like I said, I did go a little bit crazy yesterday while I watched a few videos, and I did a bunch of panels that I'm going to talk you guys through and just let you know what it was I was doing. And let you see this guy again. You probably saw my video yesterday where I did the unboxing and first run through, and I didn't edit out where I messed up or anything. It's actually that easy to do. And if you have any questions, please go ahead and start putting them into the chat. I'm going to try to get to everything that I have an answer about. If I don't have an answer, we can figure it out and go forward. I'm also ordering in some more plates, and Spellbinders is sending me a few more plates, so I will be playing with this some more. Yeah, here's the thing. First off, it stamps. Let's just look at it as a stamp, okay? If you look at it as a stamp, you're thinking it's not really that different, except that the platform makes it so that you get a perfect impression the first time you try. That's number one. Number two is the lovely texture on these things. Feels fabulous. Pam got hers in today. Awesome. Well, do me a favor, guys. I have a Discord. I have a Facebook page. I have a Facebook group. Debbie Crafting with... What is the name of my group? I've got actually three different groups over there. I have to look this up because now I can't remember what the name of it is. But I want to see pictures of what you create, and I want to hear what your impressions are. That would be absolutely fabulous. So I think it's Crafting with Debbie. Some of you guys have been with me long enough, you know what it is, and of course, you know, my brain goes off in a different direction. Plus, I've got Todd in the background where he's working on audio stuff, so if you hear some weird sounds, he's doing some speaker testing and stuff. It's raining, so he's not going on his bike ride like he normally does. Okay. So Crafting with Debbie Facebook group, I'm going to copy and paste that into the chat real quick. So if you're not already in that group, go ahead and join. So there's that. And then I've got a Discord and just looking to see if there's anything new over there real quick. Not interested. I have been getting contacted more and more by graphic artists wanting to sell me their services. It's like, I create all my own stuff. You guys know, I create all my own graphics. Elizabeth creates her own graphics. There's a bunch of us. It's like, if you're crafters and you know how to create digis, then you would probably make your own. So I don't know why they contact me all the time. I had 2 different ones contact me there, and then I get stupid emails that I don't want. Anyhow, I think this command is working. Okay, I think that one's working. If it's there, it is. Okay, so that is a link to be able to join us over on Discord. I don't have a crafty challenge going on at the moment, but I probably will set one of those up. I have been doing monthly classes. We just had one this past weekend. Anyway. Maureen says we always hear weird noises from Todd.
This is true.
He says this is true. So for you guys who are new, Todd is my husband. He's normally right now on a bike ride. He does this pretty much every afternoon, almost every afternoon. He goes on a 50-ish mile bike ride. He's also an acoustics engineer, designs speakers for Audiovox is the name of his company, but they create them for other folks. Right now, his main project is creating a sound bar and revising it and doing all the things for Club Car, which they do golf carts. So that's been his big thing lately. So right now, he's in there testing some stuff. He knows I'm going live. He knows I'm live because he asked. Oh, even I got a thing up on the screen because I said something in the chat. Okay. Anyway, I've got a few of those different things that are brand new on there. I do want to go ahead and say welcome one more. Come on. There we go. I don't know. Hello, Betty. Patty. Well, I'm so happy that did. I want to say welcome in again to everybody. So welcome in, Patty Gates. Hun, I know that you were having some issues with doing things on the classes, and I do want you to reach out to me over Discord or Facebook, and we need to try to work that out because I know you've been having a little bit of trouble a couple of months, and I want to make sure you have access to all the things. Okay. Oh, well, thank you so much. You said you liked my watercoloring yesterday. Lisa got the meow. So, meow, translation. Hi, are you here to feed me? I added a couple of cool little things in there. Okay. My husband has been talking the whole time, so I've missed everything Debbie said. You know what, Cordelia? It's on replay, honey, so you can see the replay. Okay, so I know you guys want to see my toy, right? That's what you're here for. You want me to stop jabbering and let you see the toy, right? Okay, let me get over to the other screen. So we've got the flat lay on. Let me put my face cam up. There, it is actually working. Good. It's not quite situated where I want it, though. Just give me a second. Why is that? Oh, that's the cord. Okay, I may have to try to do something there. Is that better? No, that's actually worse. Okay. I think I'm centered. Yeah. We'll go with it. Okay. So I've got this. And looks like I'm zoomed in a little too much, so let me fix that too. Because I changed a few little things on my screen. So there we go. That looks better. Okay. So this is the Betterpress. Okay. And I put, basically because I haven't figured out storage on it yet, I'm storing it in its box. I'm just leaving everything in there so I don't lose anything. I don't have any sleeves done for any plates because I've just got the one set. But here's how it comes. You've got your instructions. You've got your chase. Got your platen, which apparently fell out. And you've got your shims. And this thing is so stupid easy. It really, really, really is. First off, we've got the 3 shims, and I'm going to explain this again just like I did on the video, probably more so, but we've got 3 shims. And again, ask me questions. There's probably things that I haven't thought of that you guys might want to know about because it just didn't dawn on me yet. And also, I'm sure that there's just questions I haven't thought of. Or maybe I've thought of them and already looked them up, but I don't think to say it. So I do want you guys to ask me questions on this. So we've got 3 shims. And the reason that they're there is because they will be coming out with thicker paper to work with this. And you're going to want a little bit more space. So I think it's supposed to be like double thickness, like 220. So these are just some real thin little shims. You can see they basically they're not really thick at all. Anyway, they go in there. This thing here is magnetic. You can see the magnetic backing, and that just slides right in. Okay. And then it's a little bit dirty because I was playing yesterday. These are the plates that come in the kit. We've got these real pretty roses. And just so you can see, it's like this. Okay. And then you've got 2 sentiments, and until yesterday, I didn't realize what the big difference was between the 2 sentiments. So they both say, to my favorite person, but after I was watching Yana and Denzel on Yana's channel, turns out that some Canadians were saying, that's not the way that we spell favorite. Apparently, they spell it with a U in the middle. So it has basically, they gave us sentiments with both spellings. So you can use either way, whichever you want to. I just picked the one that was bigger. I didn't really know that they were how they were different. I thought it was the same one, just done with the script a little bit different. So I put on here to my favorite person, and then just use some watercolor. Now the reason that did get watercolor, and I believe this was done with Tim Holt's watercolor pencils. The reason we're using watercolor is because of the ink. Okay, the ink is archival ink. It is it's specially formulated to be used with this. Just looking at the chat again, sorry. But it's specially formulated to work with this because you want it to be thick enough so it kind of sits on top so you get a really good impression, right? So it's specially formulated. I've got one ink. Yeah. The kit comes with the one. So you've got your ink. It also comes with some papers, and they come in 3 colors. We've got this gray, we've got, I don't know the color names. We've got a white, and then we've got a little bit of an off-white. So there is a little bit of difference there. And they are thicker, and they do feel really nice. I have to say that. They do feel really nice. These are cotton panels. It's not regular, wood pulp paper. These are actually made from cotton. And like I said, I did watch, that is cool. So close. Pam is talking to Rebecca. Okay, so looks like she found some crafty buddies. Awesome. Anyway, the paper is important. The ink is important. The plates are important. All of those things are important. However, just like with everything else that we do, you can find ways to get close. Okay, so if you want the absolute best results, like say you're doing it for a wedding and someone's paying you for wedding invitations, you're going to want to make sure you're using the best ink and the best papers. Okay. However, if you're just playing around and practicing and want to try out different things, you can experiment just like we do all the time. I experiment constantly. Most of the time I have the camera turned on. Yesterday I did it while I was watching some stuff and I did not have the camera on. So let me show you what I did. Okay. And then we're gonna make a card. I promise we will be making a card, but I wanted to share this stuff with you first. So first I decided, okay, they say that you need to do it on this special paper. Okay, well, is it just because it's thicker? Will it work on paper that's like, say, heavyweight regular cardstock? It does, and there is still that texture. It does not feel quite the same because the rest of the paper, the way that the paper feels, just feels different. It almost feels it feels like cotton. It feels a little bit like cloth, okay? So it has that different feel. This one I did with just regular heavyweight cardstock, okay? This is what I use for my card bases. So I did one, and I wrote on the back of most of these. Well, I did one, and then I didn't feel like I got a good enough coverage, which means I didn't use enough ink. So I did it again. And this one looked better because I got more ink on there, okay? It still has that same texture, and it goes down perfect. And if you look at this, these are exact. I mean, it's very rare that I'm able to get a second panel exactly like I did the first one, you know, because you always shift things around a little bit. But this stays in place so well. All you do is tape it back in place on the platen and you're good to go. So I've got those two that were done with heavyweight cardstock and the Betterpress black ink. Then I decided, I've got these in the wrong order. Not that. Okay, then I decided I was going to start playing with some of the Ranger archival ink, because you know what? This stuff is made by Ranger. It is archival ink. It's just thicker. Okay? It's thicker than the regular. So I decided to pull out some archival ink. And the first one I came in, okay, I'll be honest, I don't use archival ink very often. I tend to use a lot of dye ink, and I do have other types. I've got the distress ink, which is basically a dye ink. I've also got the oxides, which are a hybrid ink, and I probably still have some more pigment ink somewhere. I'm sorry about that. But I don't really use the archivals that I bought. I just haven't. I don't know why. They've been sitting in a drawer. So I started off with Ranger's Archival Violet. This is, again, just heavyweight cardstock. It is not the specialty cardstock. I've only used one panel out of this, and that was on that first card. And I'm gonna have to order some more because it is gorgeous. But this is what it looks like with that violet Ranger archival ink. Sorry about all the coughing. I don't know what's going on with that. Well, and then I did another one just because. I mean, now I've got two pretty panels, and they're, oh, I remember what it was. Did this one, but I had taped it at the top, and I forgot how I had the plate laid over. So I had the tape here, and it covered part of it. So I decided to do a second one. I'm just coughing a lot, hon. I've got allergies, and yeah, it's a thing. And I haven't been able to get rid of the coughing thing since 2017, so it's been a while. Anyhow, so I did a second panel, and I think it came out gorgeous. And this one has coverage all the way up there because I put the tape on a different part. Okay. Then I decided to try out some of my dye inks. Okay. And not that one. I'm just making sure what I've got here. So I've got Simon Hurley. I've got two from Simon Hurley and then one from Maker Forte. Hello, Sandy. Welcome to the party. Welcome. Okay. So let's do Simon's first, okay? Because you guys know that Simon's inks, they are dye-based. They are water reactive. Which means if you use you have to pay attention to what ink you're using as to what you're going to color it with if you're going to color it, okay? So first off, this one is Remember Me, and it came out perfect with Simon's ink. Okay, this one is Bee Sting, and it again came out perfect with Simon's ink. Then I decided to try out Maker Forte. Now, I am going to tell you kind of what I've discovered on some of these inks, okay? Maker Forte Telephone Box is absolutely gorgeous. Very deep, rich red. Now, my ink pads, first off, the way that they come are different. Like Simon's is a felt, and this is more of a sponge. And This one is very, very, very juicy, meaning I made a tremendous mess trying to do this. I had to clean out the dies on the plates a couple of times to get it to work right. So I'm probably going to demonstrate some of that again tonight too. Then I decided to do something because I saw somebody else do it. I think it was Simon. I grabbed out the Ranger Archival inks again. I discovered, again, I've got this stuff and I don't use it. I've got a little 4-pack of little ones like this. And I decided let's do some different colors on there. So I did this one where I'm using some of the green and some of the red. And I think this is gorgeous. Doesn't need to be colored. I'm thinking just a sentiment and that would be perfect. But wait, there's more. Yes, it is a metal plate. This is a metal plate. Okay, and this is a magnetic piece. So you put it on there and it stays and everything is marked off so you know exactly where to do it. Denzel was saying that part of the original design for this, part of what they been trying to do for the last 2 years I think it was just 2 years while they were working on this, they wanted to make it so stinking easy. Anybody can do it first time around and get perfect results. Letterpress, the way that he explained it is they use a lot of, in general, the way that the letterpress system has worked in the past, and one reason why this is better is you'd use a lot of inks, you'd use brayers to get the ink on there straight, and you have to have special machines to do the pressing in, all that stuff, and it's difficult. The thing is, since these are metal plates, guess what else you can do with them? You guys see that? What did I do here? This is foil. So you can use your Betterpress plates in your glimmer system. You cannot use your glimmer plates in this. Okay? Do not use your glimmer plates in the system. It's possible you could damage the system. And the reason for that is the glimmer plates are going to be thicker. I think I've got some glimmer plates out here too. Trying to make sure it's not something new that I'm not supposed to show. Oh, well, I can show these. These are some that I haven't used in a bit, but they'll at least show the size on it. Actually, let me get this one out because that's the one I was using earlier on the glimmer system. Because what are we going to do with the excess, the foil that we have left over? We can use it to do the reverse, which is what I did here. Okay. And hello, Eden. Welcome on in, honey. Okay, so here you can see kind of how thick that is. And if I were to grab Todd's calipers, you can see that too. And looking at this, it is a little bit thinner. Okay, this one is a little bit thinner than the glimmer plate. So you don't want to use, and a little bit really can matter, okay? You don't want to use this in your glimmer, you don't want to use this on your Betterpress, but you can use this in your glimmer system. So all the cool designs that are coming up, Christmas is coming, and I'm going to have some Christmas stuff. But yeah, and that's going to be probably in the next couple of, I think they're supposed to, I'm thinking it's going to be in the next 3 weeks. I'll have some Christmas ones for you guys to see, okay? But yeah, you don't want to use this in your hot foil system because it could damage things. All right. So those are all the things that I've made so far. And I still have to put all of this stuff. These are too pretty not to put onto a card. I mean, come on. And you can position them basically anywhere you want to. I've got them on the side. I've got them right in the middle. I've got 2 of them on there. I mean, these are just fabulous. I absolutely love these. I was playing yesterday and it was just too much fun. And again, all of these are done with heavyweight cardstock, not with the specialty paper. So you can do both. My recommendation is this is going to be kind of everyday stuff, your everyday cards, the ones that you are practicing on and playing with and stuff. And this paper is going to be really, really nice for, the first thing that comes to mind is anniversaries, weddings, those kind of things. Hello, Miss Dawn. Meow. Welcome in to the folks that just popped in. So welcome on in. Happy to have you here. Okay. So I am going to be using these, but I think my mind is right now, it's thinking, this is all I've got. I don't want to use it all up, but I want to play. So that means I'm going to use heavyweight cardstock for this. I also had a thought that maybe I could also try out using watercolor paper because it is a thicker paper, and we can try that too. Okay, so we've already been on here for a half hour. Dawn is starting at 7. Dawn, are you going live tonight, honey? Just want to make sure, because I was going to set up the redirection, and you weren't set up on there yet, but I know sometimes you don't get it done this early, so. Hi! Hi, Dawn! So if you guys don't know her, Dawn, the Crafty Visage, she normally goes live at 7 p.m. Eastern, and what I do is at the end of my stream, I end the stream and I use YouTube's redirection to send everybody who's still here over into her live stream so they can hang out with her. I have no idea what she's working on. She says she's got it all set up, so I will be getting that one set up in a bit. So I'm going to just take these guys off and let's take a look at this. First off, we've got A7 size and A2 size marked off on the chase. They call this the chase. Don't know why. That's what it's called. And then you can position this wherever you want to. And I think I'm just going to go, let's go with it in the middle. And then I've got my Betterpress ink. And I'm glad they have the small ones because I'll be honest with you, when I tried using some of my other inks and they're the bigger pads, I make a bigger mess. I make a bigger mess faster. By the time I was done, because the other inks I was using, some of them were red, I had red fingers. Yeah, it took a while for that to come off. So I'm just going to pat and twist. That's the technique that they say do it. And you can see the color on there really, really well. You see that? You don't want to brush it back and forth because that can get the ink down into the grooves in between. You don't want that. You really just want it on the tops. And these dies, these plates are specially coated. They've got a coating on there that helps the ink sit on top. And this stuff is really thick too. So both of them, both of those things are part of what makes this work so well. And I really like the fact that it's got this magnetic platform because you can position it wherever you want to and it's going to stay put. Okay, so now I've got... Let me get these out of the way. And again, all of the instructions, if you ever have a question about it, all the instructions are right here. And this is it. That's the instructions. That's all there is to it. There's like 6 steps. And then they give you more information about things. And I think I want that. Yeah, that looks cool. Anyway, I saw Jennifer McGuire was playing with that. So now you're going to position your card on your platen. That's what this is called. And where did I put my tape? It comes with some Best Ever Craft tape, but you guys know I've already got some on a roll, so that's easier for me to manage. And I'm going to try to teach myself to do this in the corners because it's most likely I'm not going to actually use the corners on every card, right? So this is all ready. This is all you have to do to get the paper ready. Maureen is talking to Dawn. Dawn apparently has been adulting today. Don't do that. That's not fun. Okay. So then we're going to flip it over. And these guys here are little magnets. And the magnets go and like there. So we're going to just pop it right down. It's not touching the ink. Let me show you. The plate is on the magnetic part and the card is up here and it's not touching and it's not going to touch until we run it through our die cutting machine. I feel like I'm dragging this all out because it's really not hard and doesn't take long and you can do so much mass producing. Oh my God. You can do all your Christmas cards, and you know what? We've got some really pretty Christmas card stuff coming out. There's one with a cardinal, and yeah, I love it. What's going to take the longest, of course, is going to be just coloring. Okay, so we're just going to crank that through, and it feels like you're not even doing anything. I feel a tiny bit of pressure right there. And you only go through one direction. Don't go back and forth, because it's possible you can wind up shifting the platen or something, and then you'll wind up with a little bit of a ghost image. I did do that on one yesterday, and it still was pretty. And it's like, where I'm looking at it, it's like, it was kind of where I was wondering if there was something wrong with my eyes, because the image still looked perfect, but it was just off by like such a small bit that it just looked weird in my eyes, you know? Okay, so I just pull that off of the magnets, like a, and then we're going to turn it over, and it's perfect. I mean, it's that easy. I wasn't even really paying attention to what I was doing. It's that easy. And this is just on some regular cardstock. And because this is the specialty ink, the specialty Betterpress ink, it dries super, super fast. But it looks like I did have a little bit excess somewhere, because now I got it a little bit smeared, but it still is gorgeous. What do you guys think? I think this is just super, super, super easy. Okay, we got the man back. Anyway, okay. Yeah, I think these are absolutely gorgeous. And then when I saw somebody doing some when I saw Simon, I'm pretty sure it was Simon, doing different colors, you know, doing multiple colors on the same plate, because I hadn't really thought about that. I was like, you know, I got to try that. So I got out, here's my Simon Hurleys. So I've got out my Simon Hurley inks. I got out some archival inks. And then I even got out, I really need to try this with my little, I need to try these out with some Catherine Pooler. I didn't try out Catherine Pooler yesterday. But I did want to try out, because I used the Simon Hurley bee sting, I wanted to try out Maker Forte's telephone box. Now this ink pad is super, super juicy. I mean, look how dark that is. You can barely tell that it's red. This is so juicy, though. I was trying to do that little twisting motion. You need to just pat it, because this is so, so, so rich. I wound up getting ink everywhere. So I'm going to do it with this one again. I'm going to just lightly tap it. And you can see a lot of ink on there. And you can see I'm already getting it all over the chase too. And because this is a dye ink, it's also, you know, it is kind of messy. I'm turning it to try not to make too bad of a mess. And I also learned not to use my baby wipe on it immediately, because that just spread all of the ink that I got off the edges a little bit too much. And I'm going to clean all this up afterwards too. One thing I did go ahead and I went to Joann's yesterday and got this yesterday morning. I went ahead and got some of the Ranger archival ink cleaner, because that's what they recommend that you clean this with, because again, this is a type of archival ink. Okay, so we're going to do another one. This time we're using some of that telephone box, and again, this is a dye ink. It does not dry as fast, meaning you can possibly smear things. I'm just putting a little bit of tape down, and again, we're just gonna pop that right on there, and we don't have to worry about it touching where we don't want it to. So I have to say that's probably the reason it took me so long to really embrace die cutting, is because every time I went to move anything, you know, I would get everything situated on my plate, and I go to put it into the machine and it would shift and everything would be out of position, and it would be a mess. Mostly because I was standing up to do it, because I've got a station for my Big Shot in another room, because it's just too big of a die cutting machine. And I am not paying attention while I'm talking. You guys should know me by now to know that, yeah. Okay, so let's take a look. And it's perfect. I am going to let that sit for a second, and I am going to go ahead and clean this up first using a dry paper towel to try to... Actually, what I learned, and I should do this now, is if I'm using a dye ink, I just need to take this and go rinse it off. So I'm going to let you look at the pretty there, and I will be right back. And yeah. Go to the other page. Yep. So I'll be right back. I'm going to go ahead and just rinse these off. Okay. Yeah, I love this. I think it turns out really nice. I am going to need to let it dry for a sec, though, because the telephone box does stay wet a little bit longer. Okay. And now, because all this is wet, I need to dry it off, of course. But that's probably the easiest way I found so far to clean off the dye inks from this. And I probably should have known that before. I just wasn't paying enough attention. Okay. And you can see I've still got some staining right there. I've got some marks on there from the Betterpress ink. So that's when I come in with this and clean that off. I've watched too many videos. I haven't tried the Catherine Pooler yet. That's why I just pulled some of those out. I've got some of the minis. I'm thinking the minis would probably do good. And a couple of the minis are new, so they'll be decently juicy. Some of the other ones are not quite so juicy. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and try that. And then, do you guys want me to do a foil one also tonight? Or do you want me to get busy and make a card or two? I mean, I can make cards off screen and show you guys later if you want, but... Do you guys want me to foil tonight too? I am assuming that the answer is yes, so I'm going to go ahead and heat up my glimmer system off to the side. Okay, so we've got this. I do need to cut down some more cardstock. So like I said, this is just I know what I wanted to do. Well, I do need to try some with the Catherine Pooler, but I'm also going to try, yes, it was Kathy Zilski. I was trying to remember who it was, because I watched hers too. I think I watched like 6 different people showing off all of the yummy goodness from this system. Okay, so here's 4 panels. And... let's go with it right back in the middle there. And my platen is over here, and I'm still waiting for that to dry, but it should be good for me to at least take off. I'm just being careful because I know how long that ink takes longer to dry. I would say alcohol should be fine. This cleaner is, I'm looking to see what's in it. be great if I could see it. Glycol. I don't know. Hello, Miss Elizabeth. Welcome on in. Oh, wait a minute. I need to give her a proper welcome, don't I? I think I need to add a sound effect to that one. You guys tell me what you think. So I'm going to go ahead and tape this down. And I can tell that you guys really can't see what I'm looking at here. So here's a piece of cardstock. There are these registration marks. So I'm going to set it right over the registration marks. And pop it right there. Just doing down on the side. I mean, you don't really have to do them on the sides. I'm doing that because I have a tendency to switch around where I have the plate, and I have a couple of times wound up pressing right over aqueous glycol ethers and alkaline surfactant. Yeah. You need a party blower sound. Okay. You don't want this one? You don't want this one? The chair? But yeah, I think we do need to have a party blower sound. I'm going to have to find some sound effects. Okay. So we're going to do another one we're going to use some Catherine Pooler. And here are the first 4 that I ever got from Catherine Pooler. I've got a bunch more, and there's some of the bigger ones. But I'm going to start off, I think, with, do we want Orange Twist or Rockin' Red? You guys tell me, you want an orange flower or do you want red flowers? I'm waiting. I also realized that I'm not on live chat. I'm on top chat. Okay, so Lisa Acker said red, so we're going to go with red. Okay. Also would love for you guys that if you haven't already and you're enjoying this video, go ahead and smash that like button, which I just had to remind myself because I didn't do it either. Maureen wants orange. I may have to just do 2. So I'm going to start off with the red, and I'm just going to try tapping. This one's not really that juicy, but because I've used it a bit. But you can see the ink. You can see that it is in place. Okay, so I've got the red over the flowers. Now I'm going to come in with grass skirt. Hello, Miss Leah. Welcome, welcome. Can you guess which troublemaker she is? So I'm going to come down with some of the green. And this is a light green, and this one probably needs to be re-inked. Yeah, it looks like it's doing pretty good. It is going on the chase a bit more than I'd like, but that's user. That's me. Okay. And part of it is just that I'm too much of a perfectionist. I'm trying not to overlap my colors, but you know what? It really doesn't matter if I do or not. It's going to still look fabulous. Okay, so this is already on there. Again, I'm just using heavyweight cardstock here. I'm not using the specialty stuff. So all the stuff I'm doing right now, you guys could do at home with what you've got. I am going to recommend the paper, though. You're going to see when you get your system, because they do give you those samples, you're going to see the difference in the paper. It just feels different, and that is going to be fabulous, like for wedding invitations and special occasions and stuff. So just put it on there, and those magnets hold it really well. And now we're going to go ahead and pull this back out and just crank it through. I'm reading Maureen's comment. I almost started coming back with it. Which troublemaker am I? What's a troublemaker? I don't know. Love you, Leah. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look. Okay, I didn't get quite as much ink on there because these are basically these inks that I was using here are a little bit older, so they're not. I'm gonna have to see if I can fix the lighting a little bit, because this is very lovely. It doesn't look quite as good on camera right now as what I'm seeing, but just checking to see if that's the right one. Let me lower the ISO a little bit. But this is like a really soft color. It is very pretty. Yeah, I think the contrast is still a little bit high on this. I'm trying to figure out exactly what's going to be the best. So that's probably too low because that's dark. And trying with that. See if that's better. There you go. But yeah, I think that is lovely. Now, if you're going to be watercoloring, or these are water reactive, you probably want to use alcohol markers for this. If you're using water-based inks, if you're using dye inks, you're probably going to need to use alcohol markers. Denzel recommends using watercolors because you're using the archival ink, which can basically blur and smudge if you use alcohol on it. So you guys know enough about which inks to use with which coloring medium to know what not to mix. But yeah, this looks really pretty and it still has that texture. All of those lines are imprinted into into the cardstock. Okay, Dawn, are you causing trouble now too? Okay, let me go ahead and clean this up some. So it does work with Catherine Pooler, but those inks that I used were not juicy enough, I don't think. Okay, let's try a different one from Catherine Pooler. I've got, and these are the bigger pads that I'm pulling out now, but I haven't decided what I want to use. Let's try All That Jazz. Just cause. Go with the blue. We've been doing some reds. And then where's my Christmassy green? Okay, and then I've got Deck the Halls for the green. I also have not tried these with any kind of daubers. I'm not, no, I was just coughing tonight instead. Goodness. So I'm going to use some of this, and this one is not nearly as juicy as my telephone box, okay? So I'm just going to put some of that down on the flowers. Okay. And then we'll come in with Deck the Halls that I think is a little bit juicier. Yeah, I can already tell it is a little juicier for the green leaves. And it is going to be doing a little bit of overlap on some of the blue, but you know what? That's okay. Actually, I'm thinking I want to use, I think I'm going to come in with suede shoes for some of the blue. So I think that'll look better. Darker blue, darker green. And I'm making a mess all over my platen. So Crystal is saying she is yawning for you instead. Okay, let me go ahead and remove this one. And let me grab another one of my panels here. I'm just lining it up with those marks. And I got the idea for doing the ones on the corners because I was watching Jennifer Maguire, because that's one of the things she was doing. Okay. Pull out Platinum 6 again, and let's go ahead and run that through and see if having a little bit juicier of inks and darker colors is going to help this to look a little bit more bold. Hello, Erlene. Welcome in. Oh, I like that one too. See, all of them, they look the same, but they look different. I think that they are just so pretty. Let me turn the ISO back up so it looks better. I mean, that is just lovely. I mean, this one had Catherine Pooler inks, but the colors are not as vibrant. They're, number one, they're not as dark because the colors are not as dark. And the ink pads were a bit bit dry, so it didn't turn out as well. So you do want juicy ink. Again, the best one is going to be the Betterpress ink, and they're coming out with a bunch of different colors, which means now, and I believe they're all going to be in these small sizes, because that's going to be the easiest way to work with it. You can also kind of see there's some ink that kind of pooled in different places on the plate. Are you guys seeing that? Trying to lighten this up a little bit again for you. But that's what they're talking about. You don't want to, wipe the ink across, because it could do that. This is because of the type of ink that I was using. Okay, let's clean that off. Ooh. Okay, I'm doing something else. I'm doing an Elizabeth. I have no idea how this is going to turn out, and I just got some of the ink splattered onto this panel, which kind of looks cool, because I just sprayed this with water. So I'm going to try it. I have no idea how this is going to turn out, because this is not what it's designed for. I'm going to take another piece of cardstock and tape that down, and then I'm going to run it through with the wet bit and see what that looks like. Like I said, this is not how it's recommended to be used. Hold your breath, guys. I have no idea on this one. Okay, you can see the water through there. This is going to be a mess. Oh, but that is still pretty. That is kind of cool. I bet it would have been even better with watercolor paper. Leah, hurry, I can't breathe. And it helped me clean up some of the ink. But yeah, that is kind of cool. It is blurred because, watercolor and the way the watercolor does. But yeah, I think that is kind of a cool background. You can put a bold piece on there, or we could also cut some of these out and layer over the top, and that would be cool too. I might actually do that on this one. This one needs to be set to the side to dry. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny. The part that is not as clear as just in the center, because the leaves on the edges are still pretty decent. You can still see them, and it still has that texture. That's kind of cool. Okay, so what do I want to try next? Do I want to go ahead and do Arlene is asking, how is this machine different other than dyes than letterpress machine? Does anyone know? Well, with a letterpress machine in general, they said, first off, I've watched some of the stuff that Denzel did. I got to meet him at Creativation, and when he was just doing the demonstration there, I thought, well, that's cool. And I don't have a background in letterpress at all, okay? I have not done anything in real letterpress. In my face cam, I never did turn back on, but here we go. So I am still here. I've never done anything with it, but the way that I understand it, it requires special plates, and you've got the special ink, and then you've got the brayer. You have to brayer everything over. It's a big mess. And what they did when they designed this is they wanted to get the same kind of look, make it super easy and not a mess. You do not have to use a brayer with this. So Arlene, I don't know if, thank you, Leah. Arlene, I don't know if you've done letterpress before or not. I know that you can get a letterpress look in a lot of different ways. This is an investment. Just like if you want to do glimmer with the hot foil system, with the glimmer system, it's an investment. Any kind of a tool is going to just give you a different kind of a look, and it's up to you as to whether or not you want to invest in that and put it into your crafty space. When I saw this, I thought, I don't have anything that I can do that with. That's too cool. Now, that being said, you can get somewhat of a letterpress look if you do it correctly with your die cutting machine and the embossing mat and all of that kind of thing to get that pressed in with dies. You can do that. I don't think that there's going to be any dies, though, that are going to have this kind of detail when you're doing it through your die cutting machine and using the embossing mat. And I'll be honest with you, I have not played that much with it just because to me, I kept thinking, I know I'm going to screw up. I have played a little bit using one of my glimmer plates to do a kind of impression, because when you do glimmer, you do wind up with an impression. But even that, I showed earlier, where did I put those? I showed you guys earlier what it looked like when I did. What did I do with all of my samples? Okay, ladies, you need to stop raiding my craft room when I'm not looking, okay? Okay, I know you're not doing it, but yeah, it feels like I know that you guys are interested in this. And there they are. Okay. So I did a bunch of different ones yesterday, but this is what I did with the glimmer foil. Hot foil just looks fabulous. Hello, Miss T. Welcome on in, honey. Welcome. Welcome. I definitely have to have a welcome sound, so that would be cool. But yeah, this is done with hot foil, and it looks like I did this one when I had some of the red ink on my hand, because it's kind of got some ink smudges there. But I don't think any of my glimmer plates have got that kind of detail. It's just gorgeous. Leah says hi, Todd. He says meow. But I agree with you wholeheartedly, Arlene. Now I have to go back and look whose name I was looking at. Yes, Arlene. So I do have to agree with you, though. You don't need all the things. I mean, when I first started stamping, I was just kind of messing around with some stamps I got from recollections that turned out I didn't. They just, yeah. But I was messing around with that, making some cards, attempting it. And as I've been going on, I've been discovering different tools and different products to use to get different looks. Leah says, meow to you too, sir. Yeah, the plates are going to be awesome for... Oh. Sorry, T. I just remembered one of the ones that... Yana sent me an email today asking if I wanted to play with some Betterpress stuff with the new releases coming out next month. And the picture just went into my head of one of the things that I've got to play with foil on. It's just absolutely gorgeous. So does that mean that we want to try one with watercolor paper to see how the paper is different? Or do we want to go straight to the foil? Or I'm thinking yeah, there's some absolutely gorgeous ones. They're already up on the website so you can see them, but they're not going to be released until next month. Okay. And like I said, they just contacted me today to say, hey, here's some things that we want to know. Do you want to play with? And I'm like, yes, please. It's like, I want to play with all of them. And they are only giving me like a couple. And it's like, okay, it means I have to place orders and spend money and all the things. So, you guys coming to my classes and stuff makes it so that I can buy some of the more fun things to show you guys too. Okay, so I think I am going to do watercolor next. I have a few watercolor panels. Yes, this is a watercolor panel. I think it's cold press. And I think I'm going to press it into the textured side. There's not a lot of texture. This side's the smooth side. This side is the one that's got a little bit more texture, and it's got a little bit of something on there. I don't care. And I'm going to go ahead and tape this one down. And since I don't have ink on the thing yet, I can place it down here and you guys can see. And just tape it in place. And this one is going a little bit outside the lines. I'll show you. That's because the paper is a little bit bigger. Arlene says, yes, whatever you do is fine. You're such a sweetheart. And this one, I think I'm going to go ahead and use these other archivals. So I guess I've said this a lot of times, and part of it is where I want you guys to really understand the differences. This archival ink here, you're going to go through it faster. It is thicker. You do need to put more on there, all the things. Yes, this is the lift. Thank you, Leah. These are dip nails. I actually did them a week or two ago, something like that. And then I've got some gel polish that I like that matches my watch. So I've got this pastel set of colors, and this is one of the ones that's going to run out fastest because I use it too much. I did the same color nails last year too, but I love these. Okay, so we're going to go with, we did the red. I think, did we do the red? Yes, we did the red when we were doing the Catherine Pooler, and that was the one that was really light because the ink was not juicy enough. So this time I'm going to do orange. So this is Monarch Orange. I'm still experimenting with different dip powders. The one I'm using right now is from Gelish. I had gotten a kit from, I can't see if there's a name on this thing that says build powder. I don't know, but I had gotten a kit from one company, and one thing I saw when I was watching online, yeah, I was watching some videos about it. One thing that okay. The Catherine Pooler inks, these are my very first set and have never been re-inked. Okay, so that's why these are not juicy. It's because they need re-inking badly. Okay, but back to Leah, what the dip is for is to make your nails thicker. Okay, that's what it's to. You're building up the thickness and shape of the nails. My nails are very, very paper thin. They tear easy. They suck. Yeah, I know I'm bad, T. I really am. I need to re-ink the stuff. So if you're having problem with your gel nails peeling off, it could be the base you're using. So that was the top coat. I know this is not a gel one. This is again, I went ahead and got some stuff from Gelish. I've tried different brands, but part of it could be if you're using a soak off base. If you're doing that, they could definitely be coming off easier. And I also found you may want to use a bonder. It's like this acidic stuff that my husband hates because it smells. This is good for going underneath acrylics or UV because it's almost like an acidic thing, so it etches itself into your nail so that everything sticks to it better and longer. But again, it's kind of where, yeah, the base that came with the kit, absolutely. The thing is, there's different brands, and sometimes I don't think the kits are necessarily as good as some of the others. I've used like about 3 or 4 different gels. Okay, now back to crafting. But I would say, you may want, it's just like when you bleach your hair, you want to make sure that you're using a protein filler so that it doesn't start breaking like mine did more than a decade ago when I was bleaching my hair. So this is all natural. I have not got any color in there. I need to do some color. I'm starting to have some grays. I think you guys are kind of stressing me out a little bit here, Yeah, I hadn't seen it before. I think what it was is I was watching some nail videos. I was watching YouTube. I go to YouTube University, and then if I see it in a few places and they're showing and all of that, then I start thinking, well, maybe I need to try that. So this one is Monarch Orange, and these are just regular archival inks. Okay, they're not the super thick ones. And now I'm putting on Library Green, which kind of matches my walls. And I'm trying to just get on the leaves, but I'm really trying not to stress myself out on this stuff because it is just paper and the results still turn out gorgeous. So okay, so the overlaps are probably going to be a little bit brownish, but that is totally fine too. So now I'm going to place that on there. And again, this time we're playing with watercolor paper. And every time I put it on there, I'm thinking because I didn't tape the other 2 corners that it's going to dip and it's going to touch. So far, we haven't had that. Nothing's wrong with gray hairs. It's just that I've never had any. And I think that they're actually like white strands. And it's just weird. It's like a highlight, right? I notice it mostly when I'm about to go to bed. Can you color those pressed flowers with your tri-blends, or do we have to leave them as is? You can color things. You're going to want to take a look at what kind of ink you're using when you're doing these, okay? If you're using the recommended Betterpress ink, I know I'm saying that way too much, but if you're using the Betterpress ink, and there's going to be multiple colors of it, if you're using this, you're going to want to use watercolors. Okay, if you're using a dye water-based ink, you can use your alcohol markers. It's the same as when you're picking your inks when you're doing any kind of regular coloring. You're going to want to use an alcohol-safe ink with your alcohol markers. Okay, so this is what it looks like in watercolor paper. And it feels, I can feel the texture, I can feel the impressions better in this than I could in the other paper. Yeah. So yeah, that's gorgeous. I'm also noticing that this paper is not quite as white. You can use embossing powders and stuff as well. You can do basically whatever you want to on it. The thing is, Patty, if you're wanting to do embossing, it's not going to be this image, because the inks you're using you're trying to use the inks that are going to, they're going to be really, really fast drying. This is very fast drying. So as soon as you pull it off the plate, it's dry. And it's pretty much, yeah, I cannot emboss this image with embossing powders right now, because the ink's already dry. Whenever you're wanting to use, if you're wanting to heat emboss something, you need an ink that's going to be wet. It's got to stay wet longer. Okay. So now that we got that one done, and I do like that. But yeah, I can go back on this one since I'm using archival inks, and I can use watercolors on this if I want. And I think I'm going to remember, what all of those are. So now I'm going to put these guys away, most of the stuff away. I'm going to leave out the plate. I've still got to clean the plate. I need to reheat my glimmer system because I've had it sitting there too long and it's still waiting. And need to clean up this stuff. And I used to have a little spray bottle of alcohol that I think Todd probably stole. Did you?
No, I did not.
He says he didn't. The thing is, I just cleaned off my desk today and it's not here. So, yeah. I do have a bottle of alcohol that has a big split on it, so I have to be very, very careful to take that off, which is one reason why I think I'm going to use my archival ink. Let's do both. As you guys were asking about the alcohol thing too. Actually, do I have another? I've got another thing. I have this guy that's got alcohol in it. See, my problem with this one is it's got a split right on the side that's got the spouts. It's like, heh. So look at that. It comes right off. So you could use either one. I had decided I was going to get the archival ink cleaner before I saw Kathy Zilski's video talking about how she was using her, how she was just using alcohol, but she doesn't know if it's recommended. So Denzel says that, he recommends using archival ink cleaner. You also don't have to clean it in between each use, but I was mixing so many colors that, yeah, you kind of need to mix, you kind of need to clean it. T, I think you're right. She says, I would think embossing would defeat the purpose of letterpress, because what letterpress is basically deboss. And then you're adding the gold embossing over the top of it. And you're basically, if you were able to do it with a wet enough ink, you'd basically be filling in all those divots that are all the pretty lines with embossing powder. And sure, it would look embossed, but you wouldn't have that letterpress look anymore. So I completely agree with you on that. Okay. So let me get some of this stuff out the way. So now we've got our glimmer system. I've got it heating up. And I went ahead and drew some marks on my mat there yesterday. Oop, I need to clean the bottom of this too. The reason I did that is because it was, and I had no idea if it was going to work or if it was going to wipe off or anything like that. I just used a Sharpie for that. But I did that because of how easy using the chase was to get everything lined up perfect. And I thought, I'm going to try this and see if I can get better results when it comes to the placement of my plates on my card, because I'm always getting everything shipped. And I'll be honest with you, the heat does cause the foil to move around. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and place this one on here. And this is A2 is what the marks are. So I think I want to do we want to go with it in the middle? I think I will go with it in the middle. I'll just do that in the middle. And I think I'm going to use the green again. And I don't really need a whole lot. And I'm going to move things around to get, there's my scissors. So I'm just going to cut some of that off. And start putting things back in the box, because that's where I'm storing it. I already told you guys that that's what I'm doing, because I do not have a storage place for it yet. But luckily, this goes right on there and it just stays right together. Put the paper back in. So I do have to find a home for this. And my little manual. And my thing of ink. Okay. Do I have anything else that belongs in this box out here? Now, one thing I did not demonstrate is how easy it is to line everything up on the chase because of those grid marks. It's like it lines up perfect. So as long as you put your card down right where the marks are, it's perfect to go. And that's basically where I'm storing my new plates too at the moment. They will get their own little sleeves and such though. Okay, Gloria, what are you sending me your address for? Okay, so this is heated up, so that's great. I'm going to go ahead and place this down with shiny side down. And let's see if I've got enough foil on there. Not quite. I did cut it a little bit too small. I think I'm going to remove my favorite person, and I can add something else later. Okay, we're going to go with that, and I have a piece of cardstock I'm going to place right over where my little marks are. And I've got these. What I've noticed is that the heat sometimes makes things shift around a little bit. Oh, I needed a place to put my press. No. Love you, Gloria. I do. Love ya. No, you're not getting it. Maybe I'll make you a card though. Okay, so now I'm going to hit the start button, and I can clean things up a little bit while we're waiting. Okay, I do want to ask this real quick of you guys, though. Is there anybody in the chat that is not already on my happy mail list? That includes the happy mail list also includes if you're on my website on the edu.debbijscraftingcorner.com on the education website, whether or not you have given me your address over there. I have been asking for that more so I can add my students to my happy mail list. Okay, just cleaning some of this up out of the way. But if you're not, your craft room is full, yeah, I'm sure that you can find room for it if you really, really tried, you know? That one's lid came off, and now I've got yellow ink on my desk. Okay. So it doesn't get on something else. Okay, so this is ready to go. And now we're going to run it through, just like you would a regular glimmer plate. Okay? Just running that right on through. Okay, so Arlene's got a good question. Do you know if they sell the matching cutout dies with these plates? This specific set, I don't know. I do know that some of them do have dies. Okay, so you can see the impression on there. You see that debossed image. Now for this one, I'm thinking I'm probably going to just fussy cut. I don't think this one's going to have any, and I couldn't find this specific plate on the website anywhere to give even the name of it, which to me says that, you know, it's the one that's going to come with your system. They're not going to be selling it individually, although they absolutely could. It may be something that Spellbinders changes their mind about, or they may come out with the... Okay, here we go. And that is absolutely gorgeous. Love, love, love this. And I'll be honest with you guys, I don't typically do massive amounts of the exact same image, but these are gorgeous. I'm sorry. I love this. And the texture is just, it is so different. It is just so different. I am not used to being able to feel that. And I think it is, it's absolutely fabulous. So anyhow, and you don't really have to add any kind of additional color to it if you don't want to. I mean, it's just so, so, so pretty. So now I'm going to see whether or not this is going to fit on my, no, not really. I cut it a little bit too narrow to be able to go with my oval. Let me see. The heart's isn't going to work. I think the rectangle is too wide also. I've got some of the solid plates, and I think I did that one. Well, I can do it with the rectangle and then just trim it, right? So I was watching a video, I think it was someone from Picket Fence, like someone who works there, during the summit that was, yeah, the summit I was just in. Yeah, that's what it was. But they basically were talking about that when you're using these, you want to actually let them heat up like a couple of times. And I had no idea. And I've been playing with this stuff for how long? I never heard that before. And okay, here's another thing. You see how big this plate is? It is super big, but this magnet actually picks it up okay. When it's a glimmer plate of that size, I would have to use my other magnet. This one, I would have to use one of my magnets that I got at the Dollar Tree because they're stronger. These guys. But this is, because it's thinner, it is... Absolutely, Arlene. But because this is thinner, it's also lighter. So that is pretty cool. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put that down, and I'm going to heat that up. And I think while I'm heating that up and holding on to my foil, I'm going to start trimming some of these panels down because I never do a full A2 size card panel. I always do them smaller and then put them on a card base. And I'm thinking a lot of these would look good with some kind of a mat, you know, like this would probably look really pretty with like a green mat, whether it is green foil or just regular green. So I'm going to go ahead and trim these guys down so I can put them on some cards. And I'm going to go with 3 3/4. So I'm trimming it first on one side to a little over 3 3/4. And then I'll trim that down to there and trim this just a touch more because I want it mostly centered. Kind of changing my mind. Yes, they do have some amazing ones for Christmas. Absolutely. And those are coming out in the next couple of weeks. By the way, hello, Yvette, and welcome. Does that tell you guys that I'm having fun with these little alert things that I got from Luria? Love them. Love, love, love them. I think I got that one a little bit crooked there. Okay. Now I can trim this one down a little bit. Is that about right? Okay, that looks about right. And I'm going to trim a little bit more off the bottom and a little bit more off the top so I don't cut off one of the leaves. So this is going to be 5 by 3 3/4, and that gives me that 1/4 inch all the way around. Okay, the platform's not ready, but the thing's hot. I could probably cook something on there. So that's one. I love that. And this is one of those things that you could definitely do a lot of mass producing with. I mean, you know. Okay, trim it a little bit further. And a little bit further there. So I'd rather trim off more of the stem than the leaf, because I want the leaf. Yeah. Okay. So this has already, it says it's ready. So I'm going to unplug it. I'm going to plug it back in again and let it heat up another time. And the reason for that is when it's hotter, it's going to transfer more of that image from the waste. So that's what my goal is, okay? And I should have known this before, but yeah, I was watching one of the videos from in the summit, and it's like, oh, really? I never heard of that. And then I tried, and it's like, oh my God, this came out so much better. Because mine always wind up being just a little bit grungy. You know, not a lot, but still, it's enough to irritate me. And I should have done this first. I'm going to trim down this panel. It's pink. I don't care. I've got different color card bases over here. And that's what I'm using. I'm using up some card-based cardstock to do these. Okay, so I'll put that right down over the top. And put the plates down, and now when it's done, I can run it through, but it should be hot enough that it'll do a transfer better than it would have the other time. I just saw some hearts go up. Thank you. And again, if you haven't, I know I forget too many times. I try to, when I leave anybody's video or stream, I try to make sure I hit the like button, because most of the ones that I watch, if I watch them all the way through, I do like it. So if you haven't already smashed the like, I would really appreciate it if you did. That way I know and YouTube knows that you like me. Absolutely. I mean, let me look at the website real quick. And I'll just tell you what I'm seeing, because the plates are already in the coming soon section. Spellbinders always does that about a month before. They put everything that's coming up in the new release in the coming soon. So July new arrivals. Betterpress Christmas collection. Yeah, let me see. I'm just going to click on Betterpress because I think it's in the Betterpress part 2. And let me get over to screen share. And that's the wrong screen. Let me move this screen. There we go. So this is the Betterpress system on the Spellbinders website. This one here is what I've been showing you. It's the basic Betterpress system that's got the plates and the system to be able to use. The second one that says thank you, this card here is the one that I saw Denzel make at Creativation. But we've got this one that's all sentiments. We've got this cool background. Here's another nice background and another nice background. I think this card is actually the one that Simon made. That's cool. And then these pretty butterflies. So all the butterflies have got that texture, but this is one of the ones that you get the plates and you get the dies. Okay. Oh, and you're not able to see it because it's still not looking at it right. There we go. Sorry about that. That was not nice. Now you can see the things. Okay, so this is the Betterpress system. That's the one that I have. Okay. And it's got that's the same flower and the sentiment and the system so that you can use all the things. Then we've got this one. This card here was the one that I saw Denzel make. At Creativation. I'm just looking at the chat for a second. And we've got a bunch of fun sentiments, including the dies to cut them out. So see that one that says, thanks for being you. I think this one might be one that was made by Jennifer McGuire. Not 100% sure, but I seem to remember her talking about that one. And we've got this one that has got, it's basically a background and then it cuts out the inside that's got another plate that is for a sentiment. Got this one that's kind of the same way. It's got, it's basically got some really cool designs there, including a die. So that did answer the question that, I can't remember who asked it yet, but somebody was asking about dies. So some of the plates are going to have the dies too. So this one has dies. This butterfly one has got the butterfly plates, and then you've got the dies. Make a Wish. This one's kind of cute. I like that. I like the little scissors. It's kind of cute. This one is all sentiments. So I'm thinking that's going to be super fun. So that's a bunch of the things. And we've got a lot of different inks coming out too. So that's everything that is right now available. Then we've got in the July coming soon area, we've got Betterpress Christmas Collection. Okay. So, ooh, that's interesting. They're selling the Betterpress Chase magnetic insert separately. I'm wondering why they're doing that and what it would be used for other than in the Betterpress. I'm sure someone's had some ideas as to another way to use that. So that I think would be pretty cool. I don't think it would be used as a die cutting thing, but maybe if you have it, maybe you just have to make sure that your dies were cutting away from it. You wouldn't want to do that. Okay, so this one is one of the Betterpress. This one is one of the Betterpress. So we've got the Noel, we've got this Joyous Noel that is this pretty bird. We've got the Merry Christmas right here. Peace on Earth, the Holly Tree, Most Wonderful Time of the Year. Three separate plates that are for your little branches. It's really pretty sentiment. This one is like a giant postage stamp. This one is super, super pretty with that cardinal. This one's super pretty too. Big, bold design. I think this one is kind of cool. It's got different images. Like you've got your champagne, you've got your little car and a burst of light and a tree and a snow globe. And then we've got those little cocktail, the little cocktail glasses. This one is foliage. And I think that's the last of them that are the Betterpress. Then we've got some things coming back out next month that we're part of last year's, because I have some of these. I'm going to have to play with them again. I think I've got this guy. I'm pretty sure I've got this Santa. I think last year he came with a train. I've got the bottle brushes, the bottle brush trees. So those are pretty cool. So a lot of stuff that's coming out next month that's going to be Christmas in July. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to you guys having to deal with me. Okay, so this has had more than enough time to heat up because, I kept on talking. But I think having a little extra heat is going to be just fine because we're trying to make it do that negative. The negative, right? Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and put that right on through. And it definitely feels different than the other plates. When you're using the Betterpress plate, it doesn't have as much pressure. So it definitely feels different. You can definitely feel the difference. And then when we get done with this, I'm going to set it up and send you guys over to Miss Dawn. Okay, so let's see how that looks. So it looks pretty good just from that. I do, because of the way I cut the foil, of course, it's not going to be perfect. But there, I just used up all of the waste from this image. I think that is absolutely gorgeous. And I may be able to cut the two pieces cut two of them together. Actually, I've got another one that's the same color that I could possibly do kind of a cut and layer and stuff. But I think that is really, really cool. Okay, so let me get my other screen back up so I can set things up for us to go over and hang out with Dawn, because I'm sure that she is already ready to go and wondering where all the people are. I have to hit the right thing. Okay, well, unfortunately, I don't see that Dawn has got it set up. I don't know why I'm not seeing it, unless she changed her name. There it is. I have no idea why it wasn't showing up in my thing, but now it is. Okay, so I've got that one all set up, and it looks like she is all ready for you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to say goodbye, and I will see you over in the chat over on Dawn's screen. So you guys have a wonderful night, and thank you so much for hanging out with me and playing with all the fun things. You guys have a wonderful night. Bye.